Sunday Horse sounded like it was going to be a really interesting, potentially emotional, and very uplifting, inspirational story. Unfortunately, it has what I think is the worst pacing of any film I've ever seen, ever, to the point where I was thinking, am I watching the wrong film? Because I read a brief description about it before watching it, and it is utterly diabolical. And I will, of course, go into more detail about that. So I will be explaining something that happens really far into the film, but this is kind of how the film is marketed, at least in some places. Certainly the description on Google, and I think somewhere else. So, also, yes, on Letterboxd as well. So it's technically not a spoiler. It's the point of the film. But it also doesn't happen until near the very end. So that's just worth bearing in mind. I will be explaining what I'm talking about. The film was released in 2016. It's directed by Vic Armstrong, and it's written by Susan Rhinehart, based on the screenplay by Fred T. Kuehnert, and we have a cast including Nikki Reed, Ryan Merriman, Cassi Thomson, William Shatner, and various others. And also, when I describe what this is about, and again, as I said, I'm describing something that happens towards the end, but it's kind of the point of the film, it sounds really familiar to another film that I've seen, and I can't remember which one. Not that I'm saying that's a problem. Films can be similar in nature. There are only so many stories out there. But I cannot remember what it is. So if you know what I'm talking about, please let me know. It's about a character called Debi. She wants to compete in a racing competition, but something happens that makes it difficult, and she has to overcome a great challenge. Will I say what that something is? Okay, I won't give it completely away, but something happens to her physically, and it means that she might not be able to compete, and she has what really should have been a long journey of recovery ahead of her. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it takes almost 1 hour and 10 minutes for that injury to happen. And the film is only 1 hour and 40. And it is so slow up until that hour and 10 minute mark where nothing happens. And I mean nothing happens. Yes, we get an introduction to the characters, but that is it for 1 hour and 10 minutes. We see some nice horses, some nice horse riding. Visually, it's quite good. And then it is so rushed, it is ridiculous. They could have done so much with the recovery, with the emotional turmoil, with really building the suspense of, will she be able to compete? And it's all over in a matter of minutes. And I'm just baffled by how anybody ever thought the pacing of this film was acceptable. Even if it were a 2 hours 30 film, that hour and 10 would still be ridiculous. It should have happened within the first 15-20 minutes, and then they could have had about an hour of fleshing out the recovery, building it bit by bit, building us the suspense of, will she be able to compete, showing how other people respond to this, showing examples of compassion, showing Debi's strength and courage and commitment and resilience. It could have been such a meaningful, moving, powerful, important, impactful film. And instead it's absolute drivel, at least as a story. Visually it is gorgeous. The lighting is lovely, the locations are nice, the camera work is good, the performances are not bad either. So if you're a horse fan and you just want to see some nice footage of some pretty horses, go for it. But if you're actually looking for an enjoyable film with a good story, A Sunday Horse is not one that I am able to recommend.